Hey everyone, Rheyo here, and today is a progress video of my journey to 150 Agony Resistance. If you're returning, then welcome back, and if you're new here, then welcome to this series. In this series, I'm building up to 150 Agony Resistance all the way from a brand new account that just used a level 80 boost with no help from my main account. If you want to see where this all started from, make sure to check my playlist, Journey to 150 Agony Resistance. I'll have the link to that playlist in the video description. There is a lot to this video, including my progress, what I plan to do next, a brief mention of Mistlock Instabilities and the benefits of doing a Fractal level 40 farm at this point, and most importantly, I have a survey at the very end of this video that I'd love you guys to participate in. So what I'm going to do is provide timestamps in the video description so you can skip ahead to what you want to see. A couple main highlights were, first, I finally unlocked my Daredevil Elite spec for my Thief. I just did an HP train in Arc Basin and Verdant Brink, and I knocked that out really quick. Second thing is that I maxed out my Fractal Attunement Mastery, which makes Fractals not only more rewarding, but more lenient, because now I can do the Mistlock Singularity, which gives me +5 Agony Resistance, and it also gives me a second life. So whenever I take fatal damage, or pretty much if I die, it's going to instantly resurrect me with 25% health, but then that will also take away that +5 Agony Resistance bonus. The third and final highlight is that I was able to knock out Fractal level 50, the highest Fractal in tier 2. This is cool because of a couple reasons. The first time you complete it, you'll unlock the ability to buy Fractal weapon skins from the pristine Fractal merchant in the Fractal lobby. You can spend 20 leftover pristine relics on a weapon crate, and you can select whichever skin that you want. The second cool thing about this is that it shows that I'm super close to tier 3. The main thing that's limiting me is my personal level. Agony Resistance is kind of limiting me because even though I have this +20 bonus, 5 from the Mistlock Singularity from within Fractals and 15 from the Anguish tier of Alba, my base AR is really what's going to make the difference there, because that's the max bonus that I can get. And even though that's a really good bonus, that's not enough to get me that far into tier 3, even if I had the personal level. But piggybacking off of that idea, my loot this time around wasn't too eventful, but it was kind of important because I ended up getting a couple infused rings. I think I salvaged one, but I ended up saving one because even though I didn't get the ring stats that I needed, it's an infused ring, so I can attune it and give it a third agony slot, which is an extra one on top of the ones that I already have. I have a total of 4 between my 2 attuned rings right now, but if I were to attune these infused rings that I get as a drop, that would give me a total of 6 slots, so then I could boost my AR by 14 if I'm using 2+7s or 18 if I'm using 2+9s. Within these past few days, I was able to get enough agony resistance to make my first 2+9 agony infusions, and I still have some left over. And since I'm really capped out on using all my agony resistance slots, the only thing that's left to do with the +1 agonies that I'm getting as a drop is to hold on to them and promote the agony resistance that I already have embedded into my gear. Where do I go from here? Before I even mention where I go, I do want to address that, yes, I was able to do Fractal level 50 just by doing dailies and not buying Agony Resistance. I've just been using everything from my Fractal encryptions and my daily chests. If you look here, you can see that my base Agony Resistance is 46. So just getting that bonus 15 Agony Resistance from the Anguish tier of Alba will get me to 61 Agony Resistance, which is the requirement for Fractal level 50. From here, it's really just about crafting my first set of gear and crafting my weapons and saving my money so that I can actually afford to max my crafting discipline and be able to craft the gear once I get the level in my crafting discipline. With the latest Fractal update that they added some months ago, they added a new item called Grandmaster Marks. These are for weaponsmithing, artificer, huntsman, all the crafting disciplines for weapon and armor smithing. And what these do, in short, is lessen the overall gold that you invest into crafting your Ascended gear, at the cost of Fractal Relics for PvE, Ascended Shards of Glory for PvP, and World vs. World claim tickets for World vs. World. On this account, I'm obviously just going to be going for the PvE variant. World vs. World and PvP armors have unique skins that you can buy, but that's going to make this process take a whole lot longer, so that's not something I'm going to go for my first set of Ascended gear. And aside from that, it's really just about running my dailies so I can build up my total +1 Agony infusions. That way I can start building up for my Agony Resistance plan that I have. If you haven't watched my Intro to Fractals video, I talk about a plan, and that plan is planning for how many Agony Resistance slots you're going to have. So for instance, if you have an infused back piece, infused and attuned both rings, and then full ascended weapons, accessories, etc., you're going to have a max of 18 slots. You can have 17 slots if you don't infuse your back piece, which is what I'm going to do on this character. I'm going to have a total of 17 slots, so what I need to go for is 10 plus 9 infusions, 2 plus 10 infusions, and 5 plus 8 infusions, and that will give me a total of 150 Agony Resistance. Right now I have 2 of those +9s that I need, and the rest of my slots are filled with +7s, and I have an extra +7 in the bank, so I can knock out one of those +8s, or I can hold on to it and just knock out all my +9s first. In order to make even number Agony infusions, you need to have 100 Artificer, which is something that I just don't have at the moment. It's not a difficult task, it's just I'm really close to leatherworking. I want to put all my money into maxing out leatherworking, and then put that money into the ascended gear that I can make from leatherworking. I'm going to need to do Artificer anyway because I need an ascended staff for the Power Thief, but at the moment it's just not a priority. If I end up finishing all the +9s that I need and I only need to make those +10s or +8s, I'll end up throwing some money at it so I can get 100 Artificer so I can promote those infusions. But for the time being, it's not really holding me back, so I'm not going to be too worried about it. I'm just going to focus on putting all my money into leatherworking and making ascended armor. Before I close this video out, I do want to mention 2 very important things. The first is something that I probably should have mentioned in my previous video, but this is Mistlock Instabilities. According to the wiki, Mistlock Instabilities are special modifiers that have various effects on players and their party's journey through the Fractals of the Mist. Pretty much, it's a debuff that makes the Fractal harder. Starting in Tier 2 Fractals, you are going to have 1 Mistlock Instability. Once you're running Tier 3 Fractals, you're going to have 2 of them at a time. And once you're in Tier 4 Fractals, you're going to have 3 instabilities at a time. I'm not going to go in depth with what these instabilities do. I'll save that for another video, but just a quick overview. This includes No Pain, No Gain, Last Laugh, Afflicted, Social Awkwardness, Toxic Trail, Flux Bomb, Adrenaline Rush, and Misconvergence. If you're interested in seeing which instabilities your fractal has, or if your fractal level that you're doing has any instabilities at all, go to the level selector, hover over the level you're about to do, and it'll tell you whatever fractal instabilities are in that fractal and give you a brief explanation of what they do. The last thing I want to mention is that if you're doing Tier 2 Fractals now, then you either have access to or you're pretty close to having access to Fractal level 40 farming. If you already have the ability to LFG in Tier 2, then the only thing that may or may not be limiting you is your Agony Resistance. Once you have the Agony Resistance and you're able to LFG in Tier 2, you can find a Fractal level 40 farm, and you will be able to do Fractal level 40 over and over and over to not only get you more +1 infusions from the boss chest, but get you more Fractal encryptions from the boss chest, which you can then open for expensive junk items that will sell for gold, and also give you more +1 Agony infusions, and all in the meantime, you will be getting your personal level up to level 40. Although once you hit level 40, doing level 40 will not get you any higher in personal level. But this still is a good way to quickly get your personal level up to level 40 and make some money along the way, as well as getting more Agony infusions. As for me, I'm not going to do the Fractal level 40 farm because I'm already personal level 40, and the amount of progress that I can make doing from that will really depend on how much time that I can play. I'm going to try and keep this series to trackable progress, which would be dailies, and also the Fractal Initiate, Adept, Expert, and Master achievements. Anything outside of that for the duration of the series will be very minimal. This would be something like getting my elite spec for my thief. This would also include if I'm within 100,000 experience of maxing my new mastery, I'll go out and I'll do a little bit of map completion or something like that. But I'm not going to go too heavy on anything outside of Fractal dailies. This leads me to one question that I have for you all. Should I include a resource farming run into my daily routine, which would include iron and platinum farming, or seasoned wood farming, or hardwood farming, whatever it is, stuff that will help me craft my ascended gear that's available to anyone? And one more thing I'd like to ask is, if I were to get an ascended armor box or weapon box, should I use it or just bank it? Getting an ascended drop from daily chest is totally RNG, and it's not through any extra effort of my own. It would totally be by chance. So would you rather me build a full ascended set from crafting alone, or should I go ahead and use any drops that I may or may not get? Let me know the answer to those two questions in the comment section below, and I will be holding this survey over the next week. Whatever the majority is, I'm just going to go with that. And in the meantime, I hope this guide helped you out. I hope this series is helping you out. If you all have any questions of anything that I'm doing, or if you have any questions about fractals themselves, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see the rest of the series, make sure to check out my Journey to 150 Agony Resistance playlist on my channel. And as always, if you really enjoy this content, then make sure to subscribe to my channel. Once again, I'm Rheyo, and I will see you in my next progress video of building up to 150 Agony Resistance.